couch. I gotta move.
There we go. Hi. Sorry, Muncher. We pressed live a couple times. It wasn't working. But welcome, everybody, to SciFi Vision for December 2nd. We're going to be talking about the first two episodes of Stranger Things and then the newest Pluribus and The Last Frontier. We're only going to be doing the first two Stranger Things tonight. And just a review, if you want a deeper dive, Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, we'll be doing a full dive. And I was asking Karen about her arm, but nobody could hear us. So I'm glad it's starting to get a little better.
Got the sling tonight.
Yeah, I see that. All right. Well, you guys we can do a different show. I just had Stranger Things up because I needed to line it up.
I don't care.
You guys want to do Stranger Things first?
Yeah, I'm just going to drop my camera while I move my seat here for a minute. But right. Let's do it. I watched all four and then I rewatched the first two today so I could be very clear on where we start and end.
Yeah, I watched all four too, but I found out doing the pictures helps me because I kind of go through it as I take all the screen captures and I took way too many, so I'm good. What did you guys think about it? I thought it was really good.
You
didn't like it?
It's not that I don't like it. I don't really care. I don't feel invested anymore. It's just been so long. We're supposed to believe these kids are 15.
Yeah, that part's a little strange.
So it's just, maybe, 15 or 16, but I mean, I don't know. I just don't feel invested. Dustin's a complete jerk so far.
How we get back into it. But once I did, I thought it was good, and I just
you know what? I mean, the thing for me is, I just feel like where else does the story need to go? I felt season 4 did a great job of revealing the big bad, and they could have just wrapped it up there. You kill Vecna, and it's over, and you move on. I don't see why this story needs to continue. Honestly, the highlight for me so far has been Robin. Robin has been the only highlight for me. Everybody else, I just feel like it's just the same shit all over again.
That's fair.
I don't really feel any differently about it. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. It could just be the long. What's it been? 3 years?
Yeah, Muncher agrees and says honestly solely about how long it took that it just soured for me. I guess it didn't bother me as much because I just haven't thought about it much in that long, and I just decided that I wasn't rewatching the rest. I did watch a recap video that was like 20 minutes long, and I thought that was enough. I enjoyed it, but I do agree it is weird with their ages. You kind of got to ignore that's coming of age. It's hard to do when they're adults. Yeah, they're definitely not kids. I don't know. Like, I enjoyed it for what it was, but if it didn't go on, I wouldn't have died. I agree with you. Like, it could have ended where it was. They could have just wrapped it up. I don't know that it was necessary to stretch it this long just to get an ending.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, they could, because I remember when after season 1, they asked them, how many seasons do you see this going? And they're like, we can't, we have a map for like 4. Because after season 4, if these things are still happening, you start to ask, why the fuck don't these people move? and then
they can't move. They're locked in with the government.
Well, yeah. Now that's what's happening right at the moment. But I'm just saying they could have ended the story with season 4. Like, they could have decided season 4 is the last one and just ended it with killing Vecna. Story over. I don't understand where the story is going, that we need to continue going with Vecna. Maybe I'll be surprised by the time we get to New Year's, to see the finale, and maybe where they're going with the story will pan out. I just, at the moment, I'm watching it, but I'm not like, oh, I gotta see the next one.
Not impressed. What about you, Karen? Do you kind of?
I appreciate the frustration that we've waited so long for this, that you lose some of your interest in the storyline and you become invested in other shows and you forget about it. And not everyone I have more than one friend who did a total rewatch of all the Stranger Things because they couldn't remember anything. I rewatched only season 4.
I didn't even do that. I watched a recap. That was enough. I kind of feel like if it's a new season, you should be explaining enough. I don't have to go back, and if you don't, then it's not worth it. That's the way I look. Sorry, I didn't interrupt you. Go ahead.
I'm not sure that's really the case, and not everyone has time to make sure they know where they were. So it's hard for people to. I get it. I get the frustration, and I get that they're stretching it out, the filming so much that these kids have grown. For me, the great frustration is Holly. Holly's supposed to be 7 years old. I just watched season 4, and
I didn't know she was supposed to be that young.
I just watched season 4, and there's a scene in season 4 when they're in the Upside Down and they go to Nancy's house because she has guns in her bedroom, and she makes a remark, "There's a 6-year-old in my house. Of course, I know where I keep the guns." So I was like, "Oh, Holly was 6 last year. She's this is only 6 months later, 9 months later, she's 7." And then I actually talked to Alexa about it. So the character's supposed to be 7. The actress who plays Holly, to me, looks like she's 12 years old. And sure enough, that actress is now 14 in real life, right?
So what's funny is I'm guessing from what I had read. Now, I didn't read the article, but at least going by the title I saw, it sounds like they recast Holly. So
they did. They recast her.
So why not recast her the right age? Or was it because all the other kids were so aged up they kind of had to, I guess,
I don't know why. For me, a great frustration is watching this actress who plays Holly and trying to remember that, why is Holly acting like this in this playhouse? Oh, because she's 7, but a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 10-year-old, whatever is playing her. And it's hard for me, Holly is the greatest difficulty in believability of the actor and the character. I accept the rest of the gang of the Scoobies because I've been watching them for years. Yeah. And I accept that they are not, they don't look like 10th graders, but at least I'm invested in their characters. But Holly wasn't really a main character until right now. And I'm struggling with Holly the most.
Yeah, I didn't realize she was supposed to be 7. To me, that makes no sense. If they recast her, why not just recast a 7-year-old?
Honestly, Karen, excuse me, until you said something, I forgot how old Holly was supposed to be. I felt like she was older than she should have been, but I didn't realize that she was supposed to be that young.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering why she has an imaginary friend at that age, but
yes, that's why she's pretty much a tween who has an imaginary friend, plays on the little spinny thing on the playground, and loves these little dresses and using a Barbie, what's that thing? Easy Bake Oven, and she's behaving like a small child when she's with Henry. Oh, because she's supposed to be 7. So in terms of the rest of it, I kind of appreciated that we jumped right into some action. We didn't have a lot of exposition or Robin. AJ, I think it was you who said Robin is your favorite part so far. And I thought her exposition dump was kind of great in the scene where she's the radio DJ in the school.
Yeah.
I mean, I also was kind of wait, are she and Steve still in high school? How old are they?
No, I think they're out of high school at least. At least I hope so.
Yeah, they are.
But they're just working at the radio station, I guess, the town radio station. So I appreciated the way they engineered that sort of exposition dump with her being on the radio. That was kind of a fun way to do it. And I appreciate that we got right into some action and got right into in season 4, there's this cross-country road trip, blah, blah. And you don't really see a Demogorgon or the Upside Down until the second to last episode of the season, right? There's all that bit with Hop in the Russian prison and everybody in California, blah, blah. And you don't see any of the Upside Down until the very end. We're right in the Upside Down right away. So I appreciate that also.
Yeah, I did appreciate that. I want to get a couple more of the comments here. Buncher's asking about your trip. That you can answer. But let's see. B says 3 years is too long. I think that once it's over, people who can binge it will have a much different experience than all the waiting and forgetting. That's a good point. But I don't know. See, to me, like I said, I just kind of feel like they should make it so you don't have to binge it. And if they don't, that's kind of their fault. And I know a lot of people don't like that. But that's why I watched the recap and I was like, it's either enough or it's not. And it was enough. I wasn't confused or anything. So I was fine.
You know what? It actually would be really funny for people that, have it, are younger now and watch it later in life. And they go to binge it between season 4 and 5, they're going to be like, wait, what the hell happened?
Got a lot older really, really quick. Muncher says, way too long. First few episodes were slow, had that high budget, no personality feel to it. Low budget for the win. Am I right? You mean this season?
I think that's what Muncher means.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that, because why I'm saying I'm glad they got into the Upside Down right away. It's correct that there was a lot of people moving around, but not any real knowing
before they got there. Yeah, right? But at least it was just one episode. That's something, right? And then we're in the Upside Down.
I mean, episode 4, I think, is really where the story begins to take a turn. But we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, but we at least get Demogorgons right away, I should say, even if they're not in the Upside Down. Kimberly says, one thing I think was a missed opportunity, especially since the show mentioned it, was the date. The anniversary was 11/3. They should have dropped it in 11/2. Yeah, that would have been good, but maybe it wasn't ready. But yeah, that is kind of.
It's been ready for a while. They wanted to do this. They want this whole, we're going to drop it on the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, New Year's. Like
that's not really necessary.
It's a marketing ploy. That's all it is.
Well, let me ask you guys, what did you guys think of the flashback with? I don't know if they recast it, because this wasn't scenes from before. I wasn't sure if they. I guess they would recast them. I guess for the.
I read about it. They used a body double and de-aged the actor's face.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I wondered, because his face made me wonder, but I knew they didn't film these before. So
the actor did it. They backwards aged him electronically, and they had a body double that they put him onto for the movement of the body. And they've done a combination of those things throughout the season when you see a flashback.
Well, I mean, it didn't look too bad. I don't think that was necessary. I think they could have just used a different actor, but I mean, it didn't look too bad.
I honestly, I appreciate them doing the de-aging, because I feel like a different actor, you start to wonder, who's that?
Yeah. No, that's why I was asking Muncher, because I wasn't entirely sure, because I was thinking it looks like him, but it doesn't, and I wasn't entirely sure.
Yeah, no, I kind of felt the same way. I did appreciate the flashback though, because it answers the question of why Will's so connected, because apparently they pumped him full of Vecnas.
Yeah. I'm not sure what part of Vecna, but something.
And that was a new scene also, where Vecna is pumping him with something, right?
Yeah, because I don't think they had those I'm calling it an umbilical cord, because that's what they call it in the X-Files movie. But I don't think they had them at all in the original, did they?
No, they never showed. No, they never showed that before.
Okay, I didn't think so. I wasn't.
This is a great screen cap. You got a great.
Yeah, I haven't put it up. It's awesome. Got a Demogorgon there. The other thing I was going to say, I'm not done with it yet, but I got a little Demogorgon there.
Woo, look at him go.
I'm working on it. I'll have a whole thing for Thursday, so I just don't want to leave it on. It's got little white stuff on its finger. It looks funny. I'm too picky. But yeah, I do think that looks really cool. We don't got to go through scene by scene. I'm just kind of trying to pick out a couple things. So the one thing though I did want to mention is, so they're all together in Holly.
The Wheeler house.
The Wheeler house.
Look at Mrs. Butterworth.
But at first I was very, very confused. Now we know now that they've been they can't say cordoned off. They can't leave. So they explained it, but at first I was like, why are they at their house? I mean, I guess they didn't want to go back to California, but still they can't leave the town. So that was kind of why
their house might be outside. I don't know if
weren't they living in California?
Yeah.
I guess they had sold the house. Yeah. And now
yeah, but they can't go back anyway. So they're kind of stuck there. Let's see. We mentioned the radio. There's a whole bunch about him being Dustin being bullied.
So what do you think about this? What do you think about Dustin's
I don't know that it was really necessary. I feel like that whole storyline was just not necessary.
I mean, I can't tell if it's not necessary because the season's not over yet.
That's a good point.
I don't know where it's going, right?
So far, it doesn't really enter into the story. I mean, yes, they're in high school. I get that they have a bullying storyline, but I don't know that it necessarily pertains to the rest of the story at this point.
Well, I mean, Dustin's being a complete jerk, but that's besides. But I get it because it's only a couple months. Eddie's only been dead a couple months, you know?
Yeah.
So I get it.
I wondered if that was the point.
I think that's part of the reason he's, such a jerk. He's still grieving and he doesn't know how to process it.
Yeah.
I agree. I thought he's really grieving for Eddie and he's not able to express it maybe. And also you're grieving for a person that everybody in the town hates, right? Remember he was accused of being the murderer.
Yeah.
And now that he's gone and can't speak up for himself, like basically Dustin's the only person, or he and his fellow Scoobies are the only people who know that Eddie didn't do it, and Dustin's the only person who saw Eddie be a hero, right? So I get it. I get why he's acting, and he's 15? I get why he's acting out.
Yeah.
Although at this point the storyline does seem to exist only to, I mean, they're putting a wedge between the gang, right? Like their friendships are being tested. And
I guess if you had just watched it, you would probably be like, why aren't they talking about Eddie if they didn't have it in there? But having not seen it for 3 years, like it wasn't something that was really like, he should be mourning type of thing. You know what I mean? Like I get it. But at this point, I hadn't really thought about it in that sense. But you're totally right. But you just rewatched last season too. Yeah. I did like Eddie though. So I mean, I appreciate at least they're kind of shouting out. I also wondered, sorry, I was going to say, AJ, maybe you know this because I was questioning the whole thing with the Dungeons and Dragons and them being scared of him. Did this have some of the, I was kind of wondering if some of this was sort of connecting with that satanic panic stuff.
Yes.
Okay, but I didn't know the date because, I suck at dates. So I was wondering, but yeah, okay. That makes more sense.
I mean, that was an 80s thing. The satanic
panic. Okay.
I think it's been about 6 or 7 months since the last season. I've just watched it. You might remember that the major plot line was that Mike had gone to visit 11 in California over spring break. Yeah. So that would put that in like April-ish, March or April-ish. And now it's November 2nd, approaching the November, right? So that's about 7 months.
That makes sense.
Have passed. So really not long enough to be able to for a kid to get through all
especially since the whole gang is kind of trying to keep under the radar, and it Dustin's basically like they're all acting like they forgot about Eddie. You know what I mean? Like I think that's part of the problem with Dustin. Is he's just, like I said, he hasn't completely processed it yet because nobody's really talking about it.
Do you see in the shot how he has grown his hair out like Eddie's hair?
Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that. You're right. Yeah, I did. All right, and then we have Elle, who is on the well, they're right there. Literally, she's on the where she's practicing. She can't go to school. She can't do anything because the government is looking for her. So she's practicing with, I want to say her dad. Hopper. He's not her dad, Hopper.
Hopper.
Is practicing with Hopper in order to be safe. And she wants to go on the next crawl/run with him, whatever you want to call it, in order to go back into the Upside Down. And that was the other thing. A lot of this episode focused on them setting up this crawl. So I guess basically my understanding was whenever they can't go through to the Upside Down unless somebody opens a doorway, and 11 can't do it because I'm guessing because they'd probably see her and capture her. So they only go through whenever the government opens a doorway, and they make sure they're ready to jump through when they do, and then jump back and they do recon, I guess was the whole point of that plot, and them figuring out how to get him there and how to track him and how to talk to him. They can actually use the radio when he's in the Upside Down if they're in the same area, which was pretty cool. I agree. I forget which one of you earlier, Muncher, I think, said that it was a little slow. It did take a while to get to that point, but I didn't mind the planning.
Well, and yet they spared us. This is not like planning. This is a finely tuned activity that they do every time, every couple months when the government's sending trucks in. Like they spared us the coming up with the plan and practicing it. They're like a pretty finely tuned machine right now in terms of the crawl, right? They've done at one point Hopper said I've done 37 crawls or something like that. Like they've been at this every couple weeks now. for a long time. And I really enjoyed Robin's Diana Ross like code talking sequence where she's telling everybody, what they need.
And they're all writing it down. Yeah. No, I don't know. I thought that was what that was for. It wasn't.
Can we take this comment?
Yeah, that's why I was putting up the picture. Go ahead.
Do you think her attire is a Goonie tribute? Isn't that what Josh Brolin was wearing? It is pretty Josh Brolin.
It is. It is. No, because as soon as I saw the comment, I Googled it, and it is. It is completely, except his headband was red.
Wow.
That is totally a Goonie moment.
I guess it is.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is. I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
Where'd it go?
Well, we have this one.
Hey,
do it. I won't
Stop
touch
it. Golden Child. I absolutely love the 80s Dungeons and Dragons show. I was so annoyed when it got canceled. And at the time, I was a kid, so I didn't understand where it went, why it went away. And then I found out later on that it was because parents complaining. But I love that show.
Yeah. Hey, they did the same thing to Harry Potter, essentially later. It just didn't get taken off. We see, I'm looking for his name. I want to call him Merv, and I don't think that's his name.
Murray. His name is Murray.
Murray.
Okay. We have Murray. I appreciated he came back, and I think they used him to good effect because they did need a way to bring in their supplies, back and forth. So I like that they did that. I thought that was cute. They brought him in. But yeah, there's a lot that is the setup of them planning the crawl. There's also, while this is going on, Dustin takes the snake and puts it in the bully's locker and scares him, and then they attack him later. That's kind of going on while they're setting up the crawl and getting there and everything. Let's see what else. The other thing that we get that's important is that Will starts having these sort of visions and feeling like Vecna is close. And that brings us, into what is really going on, because we find out later I don't know how far that is. I better not say that because that might be past episode 2. Go ahead.
Can I interrupt here and ask all of us who went to high school in the 80s, did anybody in your school have a bowl cut? Like, I don't remember. Like, why do they stick with the bowl haircut on this poor kid?
Don't know. I went to elementary in the 80s, but I knew a bowl cut. I knew some kids that did, but yeah, poor kid needs some help a little bit there, but it was in at the time, right?
Listen, if not for the bowl cut, then he wouldn't have been recognizable.
Well, yeah, that's the only way these actors are recognizable, except for Finn Wolfhard with his incredible cheekbones
and height.
Yeah.
So at this point, we don't know. Whoops, sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
That's good. I just said Tall Walt.
Tall Walt. Yeah. We have Tall Will now. But yeah, during this, and we don't know yet what it means, but we also, like we talked about, Holly is
20 years old, spinning
20 years old in the playground, spinning, and we find out that she has this imaginary friend that we can't see. And I kind of felt after, like, I should have totally seen that coming, but I didn't for some reason. I don't know. I mean, I did later, but like at the beginning, it didn't occur to me that it could have been Henry.
Yeah, I immediately thought it was Vecna.
Yeah, I should have. I didn't really think a whole lot about it, to be honest.
I thought immediately also, just because I know that this season is like the final hunt for Vecna.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, and the funny thing is the scene with Will when he was looking up at the sky and the sky was spinning, and then they transitioned to Holly. Yeah. I thought it was pretty obvious that he was seeing through her eyes. It was a little more convoluted than that, but
yeah. I do think that twist though is interesting, and I like that they at least put the stuff at the beginning of the episode that, like you said earlier, that kind of explains why he has that connection. But I think if they hadn't put that in, it maybe wouldn't have made as much sense as it did.
I agree.
Now we somehow connected to him.
Now here's a thought that Artie and I were having though. Can Vecna also see through Will's eyes?
I'm guessing probably, because I wondered that too.
Well, because that's what I'm thinking, is because that would explain why Vecna's always one step ahead of them.
Yeah.
I have a kind of a different thought. I could hold it till later or not, but my friend and I were discussing. All right, well, I'm going to hold it because it's not appropriate for me to say what I'm going to say until we get to later episodes. I'm going to hold my theory for later.
All right.
This might be the greatest scene.
Yes, this was cool. I just realized now, when I watched this, I was like, "What is that? That's the head of the Demogorgon." I just now realized that because it's, at least I think it is, when it's closed, like the flower thing before it's open.
Maybe
it's
sure that's sort of like
I didn't give it that much. I didn't give it that much thought because I was like, "Is that Linda Hamilton?"
Yeah. Well, no. Looking at it now, I'm saying I think that's what it is, but I didn't know at the time.
It looks like a bundt cake made out of liver.
I was just gonna say it looks like a butt.
It does. Well, I think it's the close. To me now, looking at it, it looks like the closed petals of the Demogorgon head, kind of.
With the skin peeled back off it. It's skin. It has no, like, it's been like.
Yeah, it's been sort of dissected, but I don't know. That's what it makes me think of. Maybe I'm wrong. Either way, it goes.
And the minute I didn't know Linda Hamilton was in this. The minute
I didn't either.
Didn't either. Yeah. Yeah, so we have Linda Hamilton, who plays a government goon, I guess you could say.
Dr. K. Her name is Dr. K.
Yeah, Dr. K. It was making me think of Resident Alien because she kind of a little bit plays sort of that kind of character. She's the bad man in black sort of.
Is she though? Is she?
That's where it's set up to be. I'm not saying that's what it'll end up being, but right now that's what it seems to be.
In this scene, she says to the soldiers, she says, "Listen, I'm running out of time. People are dying. Innocent people are dying. Bring me the girl." And so
but later she says things against Elle that
to me, she appears to be motivated by truly wanting to save people from whatever's happening. Now, I don't know what their plans are. At this point, we don't know what their plan is and how they plan to exploit or partner with. We don't know what they want from Elle at this point, right? We know that the general is a horrible person who just wants to kill her, but when I saw this, I thought there's some leeway at this point on Dr. K. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I feel like she's more in line with the Paul Reiser character.
Yeah,
fair.
Like
I just Paul Reiser who was with the general and had his opinions, but I guess you're right. We don't necessarily know that, but he
seems to report to her. The general reports to her.
Yeah.
It seems.
Yeah, she's in the Upside Down and she's running the show there.
Do you think she doesn't know that? Because you're saying she may not be like after Elle in the same way he is, and we know he's a horrible person. So I kind of assumed if she's working for her that she has the same mindset. But I mean, it doesn't actually say that.
Here's another interpretation. I thought she meant innocent people are dying because of Elle, and so she was way off base about what's actually going on.
I thought she was saying she didn't know which it was kind of. I was somewhere in the middle of those two things.
It's interesting. I thought she was saying innocent people are dying, bring me Elle so I can stop it. But B, now that you say that, I can totally see that.
Yeah, that's more in line with where I was.
It could go either direction.
Yeah, well, I thought she was wanting to. That's why I said I thought that she was wanting to capture her, but I thought she might end up working with her. We didn't know, but I definitely thought that at this point she was more on the general.
I mean, we know that Elle really did open the original first.
Technically, it is her fault. I mean, let's be honest.
Well, no. You want to get technical? It's the doctor's fault that made her into this
made her rip open the
weapon to begin with.
Right, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And while she opened the gate in Hawkins, there was another gate in Russia that she's not responsible for, right? But that's not what I don't think I don't know if anybody knows that except Matthew Modine and Paul Reiser, right? And number one, Henry.
Yeah, she created Henry.
And she didn't do it on purpose either.
She created Vecna. But yeah, no, she didn't do it on purpose.
But I'm saying like Dr. K might or might not know that. But even if you know that Elle opened the first gate in Hawkins, like she can't be. She's not doing like. In what way? I get it. I agree with B that Linda Hamilton probably means like this is happening because of Elle. But how can Elle be causing all these people to like? Elle is not like, in what way do you think Ella? Maybe they think Ella's controlling the Demogorgons and don't know that about it, Henry. I don't know. There's a lot to unpack here that we'll have to wait and see, right?
Yeah, I assume they don't know a lot of the stuff, and they're just kind of blaming her because they're scared and everything else. But I mean, she did, like I said, she did create Vecna technically, but not intentionally, and she's not doing it now. So,
and nobody knows that.
Yeah,
and nobody can possibly even guess at that. Right? There's no way to even.
Yeah, I was thinking like they knew it, but she didn't tell people for good reason. So,
well, and while Elle was a student at Hawkins' lab, they were all told that number one doesn't exist, and like it was a myth, right? Like that is stated earlier that in season 4 they go into it that they were told number one doesn't exist.
You know, I wonder if them lying to them kind of backfired a little bit, because I almost wonder if they had said, oh, hey, this is what happened to number one and you need to watch out for him, and like had maybe better prepared them, maybe it would have worked out a little different. Well, I don't know. Might not have,
for the part, and we're keeping him around here as a creepy orderly with a.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he was the orderly for a while. Okay. Yeah. But well, they did, but at that point he wasn't Vecna. He wasn't Vecna until after he was the orderly, right? Yeah,
but he became Vecna. He was dangerous, and that's why Matthew Modine put an implant in his neck to restrain him. Basically, gave him a restraining bolt, and kept him around to watch him.
Right. I guess I'm more meaning like after he became Vecna and she didn't remember the things. Maybe if they had told her, but then again, she was trying to get as far away as she could from the lab.
He was like an actual serial killer before he came to the lab.
Yeah, there was a lot going on that they clearly did not tell anybody. Although, not like I said, I don't know that it would have helped to tell, but they would have just been scared of him.
As they should have been. He killed his parents and his sister.
Yeah. Yeah, he was bad to begin with. So that's a good point too. Like I said, she made him into Vecna. She did, but she didn't make him evil. He was already evil. So that is not part of it. So then we have Elle trying to go with Hopper on the crawl is a big part of it. Her trying to go, and them tracking. Like I said, they're tracking him through. I was trying to see pictures here somewhere. They're tracking him through when he goes into the upside down. It's hard to get good help. It is. I think especially in this show.
I mean, do you guys agree with Hopper not letting Elle come, that he thinks she's too anxious to get Henry, right? And
no, I see both sides. I see him not wanting to go because he doesn't want her to get hurt. But I also see it as a TV show, and I'm thinking Elle has the superpowers you don't. She can protect you. Let her go with you. But so yeah, I kind of see both.
Yeah, I see both sides of it, and I got to say it'd be easier to believe if she still looked 14. Or 15. At least then I could be like, all right, I can see Hopper's, but she doesn't. She looks like an adult, and it's like, why can't she go?
Because she's and she's married and has a kid now.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But no, I'm with Jamie. I see both sides of it.
He's like, I mean, he's not like, biologically her father, but he's her father now. So I totally get it.
Really important
for all intents and purposes, he's her father now. So there's the stuff. Let's see. There's the stuff with him giving her the night. We don't really need to go through that. So we do get to see more of Max, who is still in a coma, that they've brought back just in case anybody forgot. That she's still there because of Vecna, of course. And
that's so funny. I remember about 2 weeks ago, Jamie, when we were talking about doing this, we were off the show, I think. And you said, how did it end? Is that girl still in a coma?
That was what I remembered, was her getting almost killed. Yeah. She had all her bones broken too, pretty much. So she's not had a good time of it. At least she.
All I know is by the end of the second episode, I turned to Artie and I said, I swear to God, if she is in a coma for 4 fucking episodes, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, I would have been mad at that too.
At the end of season 4, she had both arms and both legs in casts and a neck brace when she was in that bed. So she has improved.
At least she's she's gotten to skip the pain. At least there's that. As long as she wakes up. If she don't wake up, then it wasn't worth it. But you know what I mean. She got.
I can. Let me tell you, just me having one break, I can't even imagine. She's lucky she was.
Yeah, she got to bypass the break. Let's see. Andrew says that the cast is aged, to be sure. I think that Lucas has aged the most. Maybe Will too. I guess Will too. Will's really tall, but I think the two of them have gone. And then Golden Childs, it felt awkward when they were calling each other punk ass. I thought it was funny. I liked that part. I thought it was cute. They're still friends, even if he's her dad. They're being, silly. I don't know. I like that part. So let's see.
My dad still sometimes says someone's a punk because he's in his 90s, so he still uses 80s slang.
Yeah, well, they're actually in the 80s, so they can use the 80s slang. So then the other thing that we probably should touch on is this girl that I don't know her name is dating Robin, and Will sees them kiss.
Virginia.
So was that her name? I don't know.
No. I'm trying to remember. No, it's
I don't remember.
Vicky.
Yeah,
I knew it started with a V.
Okay, Vicky. So he sees them kissing, and we knew from the end of the last season that Will has discovered he's gay and realizes it now. I guess is the best way to put it. Not that he discovered, you know what I mean.
Admitting it.
Admitting it to himself now. That's the good way to put it. That he's gay. So he's interested, I guess, in probably maybe talking to her later about it.
I think he
doesn't have anybody to talk to, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's very lonely. Season 4 was a lot about how lonely he was, being isolated from his friends, being in California, not being able to really be his true self or whatever, right?
And his mother coddles him too.
His mother does coddle him, I think. I think it's not. I mean, yeah, there was a lot going on there in that scene, right? Will, and I was talking to this friend of mine about I was a little bit, as I watched this, I'm a little bit geez, why do we have to have this? Can't characters just be gay on TV? But this is set in the 80s. It's set in 1980. What is it? 1986 by now.
We're in 87 now.
We're in 87. And, we're talking about a time when it was not the idea of a teenager coming out in high school was a much more fraught, much more difficult, a very different time and a different thing. And I'm I didn't know any kids who were openly out in high school. Or even I was in college by 87, and it's not such an easy thing to do. Probably even now, I don't know. I've not gone through it, but I'm sure it's not an easy thing for a kid now. But back then in the 80s, this is probably pretty. This feels kind of true to life to me.
Yeah. I'm sort of jumping ahead because I'm realizing we're doing more of a breakdown and a review whenever we do this. So let's see. So the main part is that during the crawl, he does get to go over to the other side. What did I do? I opened something by accident. Hold on.
No, you've just gone to the guys in the truck with the antenna, so that they can communicate to maintain communication with Hop on the other side.
I thought I had to Hop when he's going in. So he does get over to the other side, and of course, at that point, all things go to shit, and they lose communication with him. And there's a picture of the truck driving in through the upside down. And I was like, how are they ever going to get to communicate with him again? How are they going to find him? So I think they did a good job with the tension of this and going back and forth. And trying to, because to me, the fact that he's over there and maybe has no way out, not unless unless he's there when they come back, he could be stranded there. Although, to be fair, we do know Elle could rip another portal, but probably doesn't want to for good reason.
Or if he could get through the gate, except it's heavily guarded by the soldiers. As soon as he came through, he'd be arrested.
That too. So Hopper is over there, and the truck gets attacked by Demogorgon, and we have Mike. Yeah, Mike.
Will.
No, Mike. Will. I was gonna say, I'm like, that's not Mike. Will is having his feelings again, seeing, which we've learned later is through the eyes of Demogorgon, and he sees him being attacked, sees the convoy being attacked, I should say, and then he passes out. And I don't think there's a whole lot more after. Oh, there's the thing with Holly. The other big part of this episode that comes up is Holly, when she's in her house, she sees the lights blinking, and a Demogorgon rips through the ceiling at her. And
yeah, that was crazy.
They're good. Yeah, that was cool though. I really like how they filmed that, like in that tiny house, and the way they did that, it makes it very claustrophobic. I think it worked really well for that. All right.
Yeah.
Well, anything else about the first episode? I'm just trying to jump through so we're not doing a breakdown. We're going to be
long. Thank you.
Yeah, we don't want to repeat it again on Thursday.
Thank you.
All right, let's see. So let's move on to the second episode. And like I said, for anybody who didn't hear me say it at the beginning of the episode, it's Thursday at 10. Whoops, I opened the video. That was not what I meant to do. Hold on. Thursday at 10 Eastern, we're going to be doing our full breakdown, where we'll be going much more in depth with all this. So if you like Stranger Things, come back. All right, let me switch the picture. I got it up now. Sorry about that. All right, chapter 2. There we go. The Demogorgon that has come through to get Holly. So, like I said, I think this whole scene of it chasing the two of them was done really well. And I guess I do know. I was going to say, I don't know how they did it, but obviously the Demogorgon really isn't there. So I do know how they did it. That was a dumb statement to make, but it felt real and really felt like it was tearing through their house and, destroying the whole thing as they're trying to get away. And I like how they had him hide in the bathtub. Yeah, I don't know. What did you guys think about the scene?
Yeah, I thought this was all done really well. I like, how it ended with Mama going nuts with the wine bottle. I was surprised when they got to the hospital that that Dad was okay, was actually still alive. I thought he was toast.
Yeah, I did.
It looked like the Demogorgon just like sliced completely through him. I was surprised that it was superficial.
Yeah,
I was too.
I really figured at least one of them would die. I mean, I hope they wouldn't, but I thought one of them was gonna.
I figured too that at least one of them would die. And the Demogorgons usually kill with really the first swipe so violently. I was also surprised they both lived. Those two characters have been sort of comic relief.
Especially
the dad, typical 80s,
I'm gonna kill the Demogorgon with my little club.
Typical 80s. No, I mean throughout the entire series, they've been kind of typical 80s, clueless, disengaged parents that in a movie like 16 Candles, where they're so clueless they don't even know their kids. There's a scene where the mother Karen is saying to the father, "You don't even know how old she is. How old?" I thought it was kind of a joke that she's saying how old is
now that I know what you said earlier, that is a joke. Yeah, I hadn't picked up on that.
And for them to suddenly be, I was surprised to see them suddenly embroiled in this. They're the typical absentee parents. I love seeing the mother just rise up to defend her child.
Yeah. Yeah, she
golden child. The dad reminded me of the Wonder Years dad. Certainly his hair. He's got Wonder Years dad hair for sure. He's got that thick hair too.
Yeah. But their whole house. They're I love that picture of the Demogorgon. That's why I was saying that to me looked like the head, because it's this bulbous.
Yeah.
It looks like it's got a tongue though, the way they did it, doesn't it? I love it.
Yeah.
That was a good screen capture.
Yeah.
I also want to bring up Crap React's comment here. The real villain is whoever dressed Elle this season. I don't know if they missed, but if they missed our earlier comment, we think that it is meant to be a throwback to Goonies. I don't know. You said Josh Brolin. I don't know his character's name in Goonies, but yeah.
Bran.
So that may be why. What's his name?
Bran.
Okay. So yeah, that might be part of the reason of the because I agree. I was thinking through all of it. Why do they have her dressed like that? So it's good to know that there was more of a reason. I mean, other than people dressed funny in the 80s, which hey, I was one of them. So I can't say anything. But I remember they had such weird fads in the 80s. Did you ever? I know at least at our school where it was like a fad to wear your shirt backwards. Like that was so stupid. I remember wearing a t-shirt backwards, and they had some weird stuff.
I don't know. Is it any weirder than people wearing their pants like hanging down?
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Ankles.
Yeah.
Nancy arrives to find her parents.
Yeah, Nancy rushes home with 11 in tow, and they find that's where they find them almost dead and are able to I'm assuming they call 911, but they rush them to the hospital. Now 11 instead rushes off to go to the
she goes through the gate.
She goes through the gate into the to the upside down. Sorry, I'm like clicking things too fast. I hate when things snap to the monitors. I had that turned off before, and then when I reformatted, I never turned it back on, and it like snaps automatically and keeps screwing it up. I was cracking up when 11 said she hit it with the wine bottle.
Yeah,
she did with that wine bottle, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of them, taking care of the family, and Nancy is not at the beginning handling it well there. So there's this whole conversation between her and her brother and Lucas. She's upset because she thinks they should have done more than they did with trying to stop, what was going on. And he's telling them that, they couldn't necessarily prevent it and that kind of thing. That's pretty much what that whole, a whole big chunk of the episode is them, because they're, obviously worried about their family and about what's going to happen.
If you can hold it there for a second, Jamie, isn't Lucas's haircut like Kid and Play? Remember Kid and Play?
Not tall. It's not tall enough.
It was kind of taller last season, I think.
Yeah.
I just pulled up a picture of Kid and Play on my phone, and his hair is like 8 inches tall.
Yeah. Kid and Play isn't a thing yet in the 80s, in 87.
Well, they came out in 86, so they probably weren't that.
Did they really?
7, according to the internet.
Yeah, they definitely didn't get big till later.
Always accurate.
Yeah. Yeah,
because I feel like the first House Party movie was in the 90s.
Yeah, they recorded their first songs in 86, but they didn't really get big until like 88 to 91. Yeah. Anyway, it's a proto Kid and Play do.
Yeah. I do think that they've done a really good job with this show with, just the whole set dressing and all the costumes and hair. I mean, it definitely. And the music. I mean, we haven't talked about the music yet, but the music in this show is always good. Although I don't really remember any songs specifically sticking out to me like I did the other seasons, but it's always done well and feels very.
The soundtrack is overshadowed at this point by Kate Bush. I never. We can talk about this some more next week, but I think they are now. Kate Bush is really dominating all the music from the show, and you can almost not remember anything but Running Up That Hill.
Right. Though Kimberly's right. I do rember this from the
one
of
the
episodes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Although every time I hear that, I still hear Weird Al's I Think I'm a Clone Now. So I can't totally. I
mean, Master of Puppets was pretty big last season for Eddie.
Yeah, they're pretty big. Usually it's a big part. So Elle slips into the upside down, and she almost kills her father because she doesn't realize that that's who it is, which you would think she'd be being a little bit more careful when she knows he went into the upside down, and she just attacks him,
Well, I mean, come on.
Be careful.
She has no reason to think that she's accidentally stumbled upon him in the entire upside down in the grid. Like, of course she's going to react.
Within, but the thing is, as you're saying, the entire grid, though, it's all takes place within that town, though. It's not that huge of a town supposed to be, right?
Well, yes, it's very huge. He's on his 37th crawl trying to clear a grid. Like, Hawkins is not like 100 people.
All right, that's a big town. But I guess my point is, if I was going into the Upside Down and I knew there was a chance my father was there, I wouldn't shoot first and ask questions later. I'd at least look and make sure it wasn't him. I guess that's my point.
Listen, the fact that Elle and Hopper ran into each other already is like every other TV show where people should not be running into each other.
Yeah.
Let's see. Golden Child says it was definitely a thing, though. Kid and Play just had the huge high top fade. Yeah. Everything. Oh, everyone sang that song to me because we had the same name. That's funny. You know what song I got? This is as a funny aside. My 6th grade teacher, he always sang songs about people. It just reminded me when she said this. Of course, there's not really a song with Jamie, at least not that I know of. But he used to sing "Jamie Got a Gun." He wouldn't do that now.
But that was Jamie. That was Jamie, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
Jamie. But I mean, he sang Jamie. He knew it was Jamie. But yeah, that made me laugh. But yes, I guess if that was your name, people would sing Tiffany to you. Let's see.
There's that Van Halen song, Jamie's Crying.
Yeah, well, he didn't know that, I guess. I wouldn't have known that either, so I wouldn't have recognized it.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to hear it from any of you people until you are named Karen in 2024. And
I know. I've thought about that before and wondered, I wonder how much she gets that.
Yeah.
No, I get that. I can see that. All right.
Anyway, they meet up here in the Upside Down. So, yes, AJ, you're right. It's like every single show with people just bumping into each other, but it does save us time. So,
yeah. Then there's a lot about Will and kind of flashbacks and how he knows he's connecting to the Demogorgon at this point is what he thinks. He just thinks he's seeing through the eyes of the Demogorgon. And which he is technically. And he wants to go find Holly because I mean he's right. He's like, we got to save Holly. I don't want the same thing to happen to her that happened to me. And his mom's meanwhile like, no, we don't want you to get hurt, which I get her point of view too. But he is supposed to be, how old is he supposed to be? I was thinking he was supposed to be like around 18. You said he's supposed to be like
yeah, no, they're like 15.
Okay, 15, 16. Okay. Then
that's what they're supposed to be.
I mean, I understand him wanting to go, but I understand her trying to not let him go.
I mean, she has coddled Will since season 1, always. I understand it. What I don't understand is you coddling your son to not like express his power or to explore or do anything while you expect your partner Hop to train his daughter to save the world, right? Like there is a double standard going on here between their two children. Now, granted, his power is not like Elle's power at all, right? Like all he can do is like get these weird like messages, as Robin said, maybe you're like a radio receiver. And Elle has been like super powered since the day they met her, right? So I get it, but it's a little double standardy.
That is very, very true.
Which is ironic.
Yeah, it is ironic.
Because usually it's the other way around.
Yeah. Protecting the daughter and asking the son to step up, you mean? Yeah.
It snapped to the damn monitor again. Hold on. I'm trying to get the damn thing back. There we go. I hate this. I hate Windows 10. Okay. So there is, we said again, there's still a lot of them in the car trying to find Hop, and they have to get the car jump. They have to repair the radio, they got to find him.
And there's a real fraying of the relationship among these three young men here.
We didn't mention they pick up Dustin on the way. They find him all bloodied, and he lies and says that which we didn't mention that either. He's beat up, and they pick him up, and he says he fell or something like that. He gives one of the standard.
He says he fell off his bike.
Okay. But yes, they are all arguing, especially the two older boys, because they both like Nancy, so they're even more having arguments. And thankfully, Jonathan is like, whenever he starts saying, should we stop and get Nancy flowers? I did appreciate that. He's like, come on, her parents almost died. Like she's not worried about getting flowers right now. And that, appreciated that.
How do you feel about Jonathan right now? I'm like,
I don't know, because I don't think when he wasn't sure that he wanted to stay with her, and now he's like.
I feel like Jonathan is even more insecure than he ever has been.
Yeah.
I'm so over that whole
Steve
thing.
But I can appreciate that it is a little hard to break up with your girlfriend when it's the end of the world and you're part of the team that has to save the world, and maybe you don't want to disrupt the team, I guess. Although it's been a while now. It's been 7 months since last season on spring break that it looked like these two were on the skids, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. To me, he seems more committed now. I don't know if that's the case, or I just got that
feeling. Know. I just it's like, she's your girlfriend. You've changed your mind about breaking up with her, I guess. Otherwise, why are you so worried about Steve if no, it's like she's your girlfriend, stop worrying about Steve.
But she dated Steve before she left Steve for what's his name?
Yes.
I want to call him Charlie. That's the actor's name.
No.
Steve,
I had it. Now I lost it.
Jonathan? You mean?
Jonathan, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Golden Child says definitely bad timing with the whole ring thing.
Hey, what do you think that's about? Do you think Jonathan asked Murray to find a ring, or Murray just presumptuously put a ring in the tape?
I think he asked him.
I think he asked him. That's why I said I feel like he's maybe more back on track now, but I don't know.
I mean,
it was a little different at the end of the season, so
I think he definitely asked him, because the way when he handed him the cassette tape, he quickly put that shit in his pocket.
He could have asked him before he was going to break up with her, though, too. I mean, that's a possibility.
Well, he was in California when he was going to break up with her.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true. So yeah,
I think that it would be. They've just graduated from high school in May. These two, right? I think it's like a little inappropriate, but then I think also
they got married a lot earlier. No,
I don't think people in the 80s got married when they were 17 because it was the 80s. I do.
No, but that's not what I meant. I meant that they get married later now a lot more.
No, I think partly what's going on here is it being the end of the world, maybe, is like pressuring. I just watched this episode of Supernatural yesterday where, which, by the way, my rewatch is doomed. AJ, because it's leaving Netflix on December 17th, and
then it's going to be on Prime.
Okay, I'll pick it up there. But there's this scene where all these couples are getting married in the church, and they're like, it's our 8th marriage this month, and it's because it's the end of the world. People are like getting married a lot, and so I don't know. Although I was engaged at a young age, and it probably was not a good idea, and we eventually broke up because, I don't know. Anyway, to TMI.
I'm not sure getting married or getting engaged at the apocalypse, though, is the best idea, because I feel like that.
My point is, I'm over this storyline.
Yeah.
It's not really.
Yeah.
It doesn't even make it funny or interesting. It just, like, Jonathan to me comes off really pathetic.
So
I just look at it as he's a teenager. He's going to be, jealous just because he's a teenager.
B says, I thought Murray presumed and put it in, and Jonathan wasn't expecting it, but I could have been missing something. I felt like it came out of nowhere. Like, what's up with that ring? I kind of felt like that. I thought maybe Murray was just putting in a ring that wasn't asked for, but I agree with your interpretation, you guys, that maybe Jonathan asked for it. We don't know.
Yeah, we really don't know.
Yeah, like in From. Thank you. Like in From. They basically, like, Fatima and what's his name basically get married because, right, they're stuck in Fromville.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, they're probably never going to leave. That's a little worse than the apocalypse. They're stuck there for all time, potentially.
But they might be eaten by monsters at any moment. It's kind of exactly the same, right?
Right. Yeah. But I mean, I guess that's true. Either way, if you're going to die, you're going to die. It doesn't matter whether you're stuck in a town or not, I guess.
Anyway.
Yeah. So a lot of what we talked about is pretty much a lot of the episode. There's them talking about their parents. There's Lucas with Max, and there's Elle and Hopper in the Upside Down. That is pretty much the scope of the episode. Oh, and the other important thing is that Will is talked into leaving by Robin.
That was so great. The flux capacitor.
Yeah, She did not listen to his mother, but it isn't her mother. She don't got to listen to her. So.
Well, I love that they don't explain it. Like everyone all the kids know what the flux capacitor is. Nobody explains what it is.
Oh, that was awesome. I love that.
That they don't explain it to us. Like, it's assumed that everybody watching this show at this point knows what the flux capacitor is.
Listen, even it's actually funny because Damon, when we tried getting Damon to watch Stranger Things a couple of years ago, and he wasn't feeling it. So it's just me and Artie watching it. But he happened to be coming through the room and he heard flux capacitor and he went, "Are you guys watching Back to the Future?" He goes, "I thought you were watching Stranger Things."
We are. This is why you should watch Stranger Things, right? That's what you say.
Yeah.
Now that was great. Although I kind of question that she didn't know about it either. I would think Joyce would have known, but then again, she's supposed to be the boring mom, right? But I feel like everybody knows what a flux capacitor is, or at least not necessarily what it is, but recognizes it's from pop culture, I would think.
I'm pretty sure there's no way my mom in 87 would have known what the flux capacitor is.
Yeah.
All right, fair. I forget. My mom watches a lot of sci-fi and stuff, a lot of everybody's stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's common lingo at that time. Yeah, it kind of is. My husband had to remind me about the flux capacitor. I couldn't remember what it was from. I guess my point is not necessarily you know what it is or what it's from. Just I would assume that most people would know it wasn't a real thing, but maybe not. I guess it depends how much TV and movies.
I love everybody's reaction when Joyce asks the boys if it's creating any problem on their end, and the three of them are just like, "What?"
They look at each other like, "What are you talking about?" That was funny. That was good. There is more of Linda Hamilton, who is, what'd you say was KJ?
Dr. K.
Dr. K, who may or may not be after L, and we don't know a whole lot about that yet. Samuel says Jonathan was pathetic last season too.
Yeah, he was. He just became a pothead with no ability to make a decision or do anything with his life.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think, though, it doesn't surprise me that a teenage boy is jealous of another teenage boy, though. But yeah, if they're going out, he shouldn't be that worried. That and 1.21 gigawatts or something like that. I don't know what line that is that you're talking about.
Back to the Future.
No, I know it's Back to the Future, but I mean, I don't remember what the line is.
They need 1.21 gigawatts of power to travel through time.
Oh, okay.
And the only thing capable of conducting that much electricity is a bolt of lightning.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So Elle realizes that.
What is that a picture of?
That is of Hopper's side that he's been shot.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I thought it was an ear.
No. She patches him up, and then this is where she realizes that he is worried about her because he doesn't want to lose her because he lost his child, and she's like his daughter now. And I thought that was a moving scene. I like that scene.
I mean, we've seen versions of that scene before.
We have.
This is a dynamic that has been patently obvious to us as the audience for many seasons now. But I guess it just took Elle till this moment to be able to really understand it.
She's young, but she got it, so that was good. I liked it. And then we have Nancy and Mike are trying to talk to their parents. Or at least their mothers, who they end up talking to, which we kind of did. We didn't get to this part that the invisible friend. I forget what it was. It had to do with A Wrinkle in Time. But I don't.
Mr. What's-it?
Mr. What's-it? Okay.
Mr. What's-it.
They're trying to find out about her imaginary friend because they think maybe the imaginary friend knows where Holly is, which, like we said, ends up being Henry. But they're trying to talk to their mother to find out more about it. And I'm trying to drag my window and it's not dragging. There we go. Let's see. So a lot of more of the same stuff. There's a part where I think it's in this episode that Will realizes he's seeing through Holly's eyes, doesn't it? Or is that not here?
Yeah, this is where he says, I heard children laughing, and he experienced it he realizes and they go on the playground. He experienced, he sees the mandala and the, made out of shells in the ground, and it triggers him to realize that it was the playground. Looking at he puts it all together.
Yes, so he's seeing through Holly's eyes as well as through the Demogorgon. B says, I feel for Jonathan. He hasn't had a chance to come into himself. He's a boy who has to take care of his mom and brother, but he's a mess and no one to show him the way. That's true.
Yep, that's fair.
That is fair. All right. I think this is so cool. I don't know. They have like all these trees lined up and they look like aliens or something all along the road the way they got them lined up. That's pretty cool. So they are looking for Holly still and they find this wall. How did you like that wall?
They're not looking. Oh, yeah. They're
looking for Holly. They don't know where she's at. Oh, they're following the blood of the Demogorgon. That's right. They found the blood from the Demogorgon. And they're following it. But they are trying to find Holly is the reason why they're what they're there for now. And they run into this huge wall with pods on it that reminds me of like the pods from the Matrix. I don't know what the heck they're supposed to be, those bubbles. But yeah, this wall was so cool looking.
Really Actually, cool. That bubble reminds me of whatever it was that Dr. K was dissecting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it kind of does. I don't know, but to me it looks like an egg sac or something. I don't know. It's gross, whatever it is.
Festering blister of whatever.
Yeah, of the wall.
Vecna.
Has a blister.
When I saw the wall, I thought, I haven't seen a wall that big since Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Yeah.
They cannot get through the wall.
But he peed on it.
Oh,
the soldier peed on it.
Yeah, peed on it. So the Nancy pretends to be a candy striper and he dresses up like a patient so they can get in to talk to their mother who has a crushed larynx, I think. So she has to write down, and that's when she starts writing about the invisible friend, invisible friend, who is
named Henry.
Her name's and there's where he's seeing what her sister's seeing. Yeah, and she writes down Henry. And it's, of course, juxtaposed with other kids that he's seeing at the merry-go-round. But then we see Holly going up to Vecna's house, and we finally do see his face. And we had seen this house in the other seasons, the house where he murdered his family. Nice Victorian house, though, minus the murder. But yeah, we finally see that Henry is now part of it. I do think that it's moved pretty fast. Once we got like the first episode was a little slow, but now we're into the Upside Down. We've got Vecna. So yeah, it's moving pretty good.
So this is the end of the episode. We can agree that this is taking place in Holly's mind, right? Like Vecna has her captive and is projecting this into her mind.
Yeah. Well, I think it's his mind projected into her mind, but yeah, something like that.
I don't know how he's doing it, but I cannot agree to that it is definitely in her mind.
Okay.
Well, I don't think she's physically in. I kind of thought that she was in one of the pods, like.
I think.
Like Will.
I was thinking that Henry has the ability to like present a glamour around like an area.
So you think like it's a physical place then?
It could be.
Well, I just assume she's like Will, that she probably got a thing down her throat.
The point is, I haven't seen anything to tell me one way or the other.
So it could be it is the nasty broken down house of the Upside Down, but he has glamored Holly somehow that she sees what he wants.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So you're saying rather than it be her mind, she's literally in the house in the Upside Down, but it looks like the pretty house.
Yeah.
To her.
Okay. Yeah. That's also possible. Okay. I see what you're saying. I just assumed that he did the same thing to her as Will, but I don't know. I mean, that was just a guess.
Or it could be in that sort of memory space where Elle fought Henry and where she went, how last season she used Max's mind to jump from Max to Henry.
Yes.
And we have seen Ellen that sort of like in between like mind space, whatever that is. Golden Child says, her mind was trapped in his mind. That's why the music was pulling her out of it.
Yeah.
So, but fair enough that we don't really know where Holly is. And like, if Henry had her in a pod, why would he have to go through this whole thing in her, like in her mind? Like,
right.
It's not clear what plan is here.
Right, she's in the upside down. We're both agreeing, all agreeing, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So she's physically in the upside. Hey, Dieter, thanks for dropping by. Yeah, I don't know whether it's in his mind or not. I hadn't really thought about the possibility that she's literally in that house in the upside down. That hadn't occurred to me. That actually makes sense. It could be like he's transformed that area or whatever. That actually makes sense. But yeah, I assumed the pod. But I thought at this point too, then later I thought Will somehow saw Holly in one of those pods. I don't know. Dieter says, wonder, I said, I know the latest episode, why Henry is scared.
Yeah, we've all seen the 4 episodes, right? We're just not covering the other 2 tonight.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's why I was like, that's not yet. Yeah. Yes, we're not. We're just covering the first 2 right now, and we're gonna do those next week. But
I want to go back for a minute.
I think that part's more interesting, but we don't want to go too far. No, it's okay, Dieter. I just couldn't figure out at first what you meant. That's all. Reminded me of the Freddy Krueger Wall of Captured Souls. I have not seen enough of that to know. I've seen part of that movie. I did not like that movie and did not watch the rest of the movie. So I don't.
Yeah,
I agree with Golden Child. I could totally see that actually. That does. Yeah. As soon as you brought that up, I thought, yeah.
I don't know. It just reminds me of when Scully has the umbilical thing down her throat. That's all it made me think of.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're there somewhere. But either way, he's got her captured. She's in the upside down, and they need to break her out, and that is where we will pick up episode 3. And just to reiterate, for anybody who came in late, we will be doing our full deep dive of this on Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Of the 4?
Of the 4? No, the first 2. The first 2 episodes.
Okay.
And that way that's why I said we were getting, I think, a little too deep into it today than we probably should have. Yeah. Dieter said, I love this new season, just not that they put metal band-aids on the cracks. Finally, the world. Oh, that's true. That was kind of weird. Finally, the world could see it. Now it's going to be a conspiracy thing again. Hopefully not. Yeah. That was kind of interesting, though, the way that they covered it. But yeah, it's a little bit silly way too at the same time.
Well, I mean,
all right.
I guess
they got to do something, right? They got to fix the cracks somehow.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, you want to move on to Pluribus now?
Yeah.
Sure.
And got it. I'm trying to get there. I have so many folders at this point. I just get lost. Okay. Pluribus. 1 second.
I watched Pluribus twice. I watched it and then I watched it again today. So I watched it today for the first time. I really like this episode. I kind of like where not sure I know where it's going, but I kind of like where it could be going.
Yeah.
I have no idea where anything's going. You know, there was one thing about the episode that drove me absolutely nuts, though. And maybe it was in a comedic tone, but after the first time she calls and she gets the voicemail.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
I kept, every time she listened to that fucking thing, I was like, why are you not asking them? Could you please shorten the message? I heard it the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I need is leave your message.
Yeah. Yes, Theater. A lot. We were talking about that earlier.
And it was funny too because I kept at one point I didn't realize she had the handcuff on. And then when she went to bed that one night, I was like, why does she still have the handcuff on? I'm like, she has the police car. And then later in the episode, she like all of a sudden is like, duh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So except for some extras, Carol is pretty much the only character in the whole episode. This episode, which was interesting and probably hard for her to take care of on her part. That'd be a lot of work. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Dieter says Pluribus. It's a good show. Hope it doesn't get old and stays interesting. Yeah, I'm surprised they've been able to keep it interesting. It's been very interesting, but I kind of worried about that at the beginning. Like, how are they going to keep it going? Especially if everybody stays part of the hive mind, and they've done it. But yeah, Carol is the only one in this, pretty much.
Yeah, something occurred to me this episode that I'm kind of surprised she hasn't thought to ask yet. I mean, I guess maybe they're leading up to it, but I would like to ask them if it was possible to revert everybody back to being an individual, would those individuals remember being part of the hive mind?
Yeah, because then you could say, if they would, why don't you revert them and then give everybody a choice? And if they want to go back to the hive mind because it's as good as you say, then they can return to that, right? That's actually, I don't, not that they would listen, but I'm just saying.
Well, yeah. I'm just curious because it's like every time I watch this show, I think, what would I do? And then I start thinking, if nobody's going to remember anything, it depends. If they're going to remember, if they revert back and they remember stuff, then like it sways it changes your thought process and decisions on what you may or may not do.
Yeah, I don't know. I would go around and spend a month going on vacation everywhere. I said that before. I'd like travel the world, then take care of it.
Well, and if you could go back, so in previous week's episode, we saw Helen was able to learn Carol learned some of Helen's thoughts that Helen had never shared with her, like what Helen thought about her writing and things like that. Like when you have the high mind and you learn those things, could you go back and have your relationship with are you going to retain that? And would your relationships ever be the same if you knew that kind of stuff about people, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because they know all their thoughts. That's a good point. Yeah. I don't know. I think this episode to me is totally like irony. It is the way that I look at this episode, because all she's been doing all season is bitching and bitching and bitching. Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. And then you kind of see how her being alone is affecting her in a negative way. And I just kept expecting her to say, well, a person come talk to me. I don't want a recording. But it's like she is resisting so much, I think, asking because she didn't want that. And I think part of her still doesn't want that. But I think that is going to maybe be the next thing. I think she's going to get to a point where she wants to talk to somebody. Also, just in the way a show goes, I don't know how long they could go. She doesn't talk to somebody,
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt, I feel like Rhea Seehorn has done great work by herself this season.
Yeah.
Especially those videos she's been leaving. Oh my God. How, I don't know about you guys, but I couldn't stop laughing at the drone when it got wrapped around the light pole.
Oh, that was hilarious. Yes. That was great. And I thought, and all they did was bring another drone, right?
I mean, I thought this episode showed some. So when this season started and Carol was so really unlikable, and I thought, I don't know if I can watch this character be so unlikable for 10 episodes or whatever it is. I'm not sure I'm going to like this show. And I felt like we've seen some growth, and I thought this episode, showed Carol being able to finally begin to grieve for what she has lost. And it's something that she really wasn't able to do until she was left alone and had some time alone. And I mean, I think when you grieve, if you think about when you have grieved for people you've lost, like maybe you do need some alone time, which Carol wasn't getting. And so I'm really coming to like Carol more and more every week. I also thought in this episode, like it is only by being alone that she's able to begin her investigation, which would never have been allowed to happen if the others knew what she was up to.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I can't remember her name, the mother, in the other country.
Her name is it's not
I want to say Pradeep, but that ain't right.
I was going to say Priyanka, but that's not her name either.
Something. Lakshmi.
Lakshmi, yeah.
Oh my God. When she called her, and you made my son cry. I'm like, it's not your fucking son. I was like, come on. Like,
there it is, Lakshmi.
Yeah, and that's such a very, I feel like, helicopter mom kind of thing to do, to be like, cry, like.
Well, she's in complete denial. And the funny thing is, this kid is only acting like a kid to please her.
Yeah, they're allowing that kid to live with her because it pleases her.
Which makes me wonder, I mean, this is a little thing, but just it makes me wonder when you say that. And I think we mentioned this before. I have to wonder, was anybody allowed to keep their pets if they like their pet? Like, I would want to keep, some pets wouldn't want to be left alone and let out. And I'm thinking about that. All the animals, they just let go. Sorry, my mind goes there.
Well, the thing is, there's only
the other people are all part of the hive mind.
Yeah, I mean, there's only everybody's part of the hive mind, so it's not.
So I guess if Carol had a dog, she could keep it. In other words,
right?
I mean, most pets, if you let them go, they will die. They're not equipped to fend for themselves. So that would go against the stated belief of the.
Even the animals in the zoo, same thing. They're still domesticated.
Yeah, the zoo animals are a little
less so, but yeah.
I mean, you can't just let them go. A polar bear can't just live in Chicago because they let it out. Those. I mean, I don't really. I mean,
you could have a bear in the middle of New York in a zombie apocalypse. So maybe
it's a death sentence for most pets to be set free. So I don't think that's what happened. But anyway, we're getting really sidetracked.
Like Bills, we just need some animal attacks, just pure random attacks.
Yeah,
I was happy they put animals in this time because they haven't really mentioned it. Let the polar bear free. It can simply head north.
The polar bear will be fine in New Mexico. If it can survive Crap Hole Island, it can survive New Mexico.
Yeah. The other thing is, Golden Child's saying, I think it's the reason we started hearing animals now that everyone's left Carol's alone. Yeah, it might not be that the animals weren't there. It's just she's noticing them because she's scared. But I mean, the animals came partially because of the garbage sitting out. I mean, that was why the wolves came. Above all the rats in Chicago.
I mean, we can talk about it when we get to it. I found the whole wolf sequence to be. I found the whole wolf thing to be highly not believable, and like I had to tolerate it because of what it meant for Carol's growth, but it was dumb. But let's go.
I don't know. You hear about coyotes coming into people's yards.
Let's go ahead. I Googled it. I read up on it. We can talk about it when we get to it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So the point is that after she did what she did in the last episode, everybody broke down crying and they're like, we need some time away from you now. And they all left, which I think is kind of funny too. The way they all were like, nope, and took off. And she's a little shocked by that.
I think it was, I couldn't decide whether I thought it was reasonable or kind of petty. Like, do they really see Carol as a danger and they need to be away from her because of what she did to Zosha? Or are they just trying to teach Carol a lesson? Or are they like whiny babies who are like, we need to break up with you and take some space from you for a while? Like, what do each of you guys think? Wait, let me just complete my sentence. Sorry. What do each of you guys think is the motivation here of the others?
I wondered the same thing because especially when it came to the garbage and they're like, you have to put the garbage in separate bags. I thought they were doing that just to be annoying, but then you realize, well, it's because clearly the drone cannot pick up more weight than that. But yeah, I don't know. I too wondered if a lot of it was just them trying to make her want them back and ask for them to come back. I was not sure the answer, but I definitely wondered that.
AJ.
Yes.
Yes.
My answer is yes.
That's the short answer. Yes.
To your question, I think it's a little bit of all of that.
Yeah. Like they could just be afraid of her and need her.
I mean, if out of those choices you gave us, I think it might just be. It leans a little towards the whiny side.
Yeah, I felt it. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when Carol, when she goes in to check on what's her face, she's like, is she gonna be okay? She, and they're like, yeah, she'll be fine, and like just totally monotone, ignored her and left the room. Yeah. And I was like, wow, everybody's giving her the cold shoulder. And then as you like, when you see people until they pan, even before they panned out, I was like, they're totally leaving. Everybody is leaving the hospital.
Golden Child says, I think it's a psychological play. Yeah, so it seems like people agree. But yeah, she is left to take care of everything for herself. I thought she'd be a little more happy when she realized they were all gone, but it didn't last very long, right?
I mean, she's left to fend for herself, but they left the sprouts fully stocked for her. She can call
she
anything she wants. She's not really.
Well, that's the thing too. Is like because of the situation, they're still going to help take care of her if need be.
Yeah.
So it's
why doesn't she eventually need to ask for gas? That was what was in my thoughts, because she's driving that cop. I love that she's still driving the cop car, though. I find that really funny that she's still driving it.
It's funny, actually. I started thinking about, I'm like, I'd be like, all right, I'd give them a list of cars. All right, these are the cars I want in my cul-de-sac, so I could just, one for each day of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can get anything you want, you might as well have a fun car. But although driving a cop car would probably be kind of fun too at the same time, because you don't normally get to. So I don't know. Maybe she's enjoying it. So the first conversation she has when she videotapes herself, I don't remember what the first conversation was, because this isn't even at the garbage point yet. Do you remember what she was recording? Oh, I know what she was recording. She was recording that she found out it can be reversed. And she tells me she wants this video sent to all the other 12 people who haven't been affected by this. And she says, I know you're not going to want to do it, but it'll make me happy. I like to how she said that. She's like, but it'll make me very happy. So yeah, do you think they really did it? I mean, I assume they did, but they didn't really. Okay. I think maybe next week we might see the other side of that.
I thought Carol was also getting a little better at dealing with people. She says, like, I want you to translate it exactly when you send it to everyone.
Word, what I say.
Like, she's learning that she needs to be, they'll do what she says, but she needs to not give them any wiggle room to
right. She needs to be
specific. Yeah. You know what I mean?
There could be a problem with that, though, because the English language does not translate to a lot of other languages exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe she should have said, translate my meaning exactly, but then that could be left up for interpretation too.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's like, I found out that they can't lie and that it can be reversed. But do people care? I don't know. She drops off the tape.
Lock me over there.
Yeah, I know. She drops it off, and then the wolves get into the garbage, and she freaks out, and she's like, turn the lights back on everywhere. Yeah, I don't know why she felt like she was in such danger, though. They weren't going to break in the house. I mean, I understood after they were digging up where her wife's body was, but at this point they weren't. So I'm not sure why she freaked out so bad.
Yeah, so as soon as I saw this, I Googled, like, are there wolves in Albuquerque? Because I thought it was a little, like, I get them watching a TV show. So there is, like, the Mexican gray wolf is the wolf that was native to that area. It was driven almost to extinction. It's making a comeback. And there actually is a gray wolf breeding facility in Albuquerque. So I don't know if how much this goes to our previous discussion, but a wolf's greatest defense is its fear of humans. And I was like, really? The humans have been gone for 5 minutes, and like the wolves are already like come down to the mountains into the city to eat garbage. I mean, yeah, wolves are hunters. They don't need to search for garbage. Yeah, I mean, they're not living alongside us like coyotes would be, right? Like coyotes are a little more, So I was like a little bit like, really? These wolves are already in her backyard after 5 minutes? But, I guess it's like a little bit of a metaphor. Like Carol asked to be left alone, and now she's immediately like got a problem that she can't solve, that she's afraid, she's being menaced by wolves. She's afraid now, right?
You know what?
So I get it.
A bear would have made more sense going for the garbage.
Yeah. Or raccoon.
Yeah. If there are real life animals around, they would definitely be on the hunt. I mean, yes, I could see them coming down to live in the city eventually, but like, I just think they would be like in the woods, enjoying doing their wolf thing and not being shot by humans.
It feels like it's too soon.
Yeah, but I get what
almost makes you wonder if the hive mind actually sent them.
Like put some wolves there to scare her. Huh. Yeah. Interesting.
I don't think that's actually the case, but it did cross my mind.
Yeah. I kind of wondered that too, but they can't connect with the animals, so it wouldn't make tons of sense.
Yeah.
This is what I say.
Jamie, maybe one of the hive mind is Dr. Doolittle.
Yeah, maybe. Connect with all those wolves. Go annoy her, right?
Yeah.
So this is where they say yes, where she calls and she has to listen to that voicemail. We need some time away from you. we'll do something if you ask, whatever, that long involved message. And they're like, we'll take your garbage if you leave it in individual bags that are the way this much. And then the drone. And I do agree, AJ.
She did try to see if it was the right weight. She picked it up and she was like,
good enough.
I'll tell you what though.
Say something
I thought it was pretty funny when the drone was trying to fly away and it was too heavy, and I was like, all right, it looks like it actually is going to be able to get away. And then it got to the light post and I lost it.
Oh yeah, I was thinking though at the time they were going to call her and say that was not whatever 8 pounds or 18 pounds, whatever it was.
I was fucking hard.
It's like nice to see the others like try to pull something together that doesn't work out. They're not perfect. They don't have the answer. And Carol, like, I guess it was more than 17 pounds is why it,
yeah.
You know, but they also like 17 pounds didn't make it fly into the light pole. Bad driving made it fly into the light pole, right?
Yeah, very
that
true.
Was so fucking funny.
It was hilarious.
It was. Great. That was great. All right, this is when she looks in the garbage and finds all this milk.
Because she takes her own trash downtown to not deal with these people, right?
She finds lots and lots of milk cartons made by Duke City, which she finds out do not actually have milk inside them.
This was huge. This is like the hugest development.
Yes, this was definitely. She goes to, although I have a theory.
I have a theory also. I think we
are
theory. At the end. She goes to the plant. She finds some kind of grain, powder, seed, something, and some kind of weird substance that she says is kind of like olive oil, but like thinner or something, are the two things she finds, but no milk. I think that like because of the fact, because later she finds the food in the warehouse or whatever. I think that because they are the way they are, just like how they were efficient with the electricity, I think that they've like taken all the food and like boiled it down to like just the nutrients they need. And that's what they're drinking. I think it's something as simple as that rather than something that they're drinking, controlling people or something. That to me makes sense.
I considered, do they have to have a constant dose of the virus or the amino acid or whatever it was to maintain the hive mind? And is this something that if Carol could disrupt it, she could put an end to everything?
Could be either. I don't know. I mean, I said from the beginning of the show, I think eventually she's going to start turning people back just because they've gone in other directions. I assumed that would happen, but I still think it might.
Your typical Last Man on Earth show eventually has to add a couple other people, right?
Well, but we have 13 people. I mean, technically she could see some of them again. But yeah, she tests it and she doesn't know what it is. She kept saying yellow, straw colored. I kept waiting for her to say it's piss colored because it looks like freaking piss.
That's what they always say. Like,
the color? She's like, the color is amber.
Amber? Yeah, it's piss. But yeah, she has tried to figure out what it is, and she makes a video saying, "This is what they're eating. They're not eating anything but milk. They're lying. There's not milk in there."
She has no ability to she's like, oh, it doesn't have chlorine. Okay, because you only have a full
neutral.
Limited, well, she's not a scientist. She can only use home water test kits to get the most basic information about it, right? And she also we don't know that the others aren't consuming anything else. We haven't seen them eat, but that doesn't mean they don't also eat, right?
I'm guessing by the end of the episode, though, they might not, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So she is starting to, I think, want people around, maybe. This is where the wolves come and they start to dig up her wife's grave.
I thought that was very ridiculous because we saw them use like a big digging machine. I don't know what that thing is called.
Backhoe.
They used a backhoe to dig a hole that was like very deep, like 6 feet deep. So I also Googled this. Wolves will eat dead meat, and because there can be scavengers, and they would even dig up a body. And in the old West, they got a reputation for eating dead bodies because people didn't bury their bodies deep enough. Right. And so I'm like, this body is at least, there's no way they could smell that and go after that body.
And that's the funny thing. That was kind of my thought too. I was like, I thought the same thing. I was like, they used the backhoe. It was minimum 6 feet. I feel like they dug even deeper. So if they knew they were going in this direction with the wolves, why use the backhoe earlier?
Why not just go with the shallow grave that Carol dug?
Right.
Yeah, because
they expect people don't pull it apart this much, but you think they'd learn by now.
Yeah, but
you always say we're pulling it apart. It's a legitimate.
No. I know. I'm just saying the writers probably think people won't pull it apart that deep.
I'm not pulling it apart, but I think this is. On its surface unrealistic. That's not pulling it apart.
That's fair.
I think. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty well known thing that if you bury a body or any animal, any perishable human or animal, you gotta bury it. You gotta bury them at least 6 feet, or animals will find it and they will scavenge it.
Yeah,
that's a pretty worldly known thing. So even the common watcher who give 2 shits about our show here, we're probably sitting at home going, "That's stupid."
I get why this scene had to happen because of what happens next and where it sends Carol, but I felt like, why did they show us them dig this really deep grave when this? Yeah, as AJ said, if they knew they were going this way, just leave her in the shallow grave.
Yeah, and last the only reason, Jay, and they put like food on it or something to attract them.
So the most important thing about all this is she finally turned the siren on the police car. I've been wondering this whole time why she hasn't turned it on. It was one of the first things I did.
That's funny. I hadn't even thought about it.
I had a friend who was a cop, and I remember being in the car and being like, "Oh, can I turn on the siren?" I was like 40. I'm like, "Can I turn on the siren? Can I turn on the siren?" Because it was so fun, right?
Did she say yes?
Yes. He said yes. Okay, he was kind of high up in the police department, but he only let us do it for like a minute. And only because we were drunk and wouldn't shut up.
Okay, Karen. So now my question is, were you there as a friend, or did he arrest you because you were drunk?
No. There was a cop that was like a drinking buddy in our circle.
I see.
And he wasn't drunk, but he had to drive these drunk girls home.
I see. All right. So she puts down the.
I love the scene. I thought it was meaningful and beautiful that Carol finally was able to begin mourning by doing
making
this
a memorial type thing.
I love the fact that she painted a tombstone. It's actually funny, while she was putting the blocks down, I'm thinking, oh, now she's got to like do like a mural on this, But I think that the painting the tombstone, it was
I never could really see what it said.
It says Helen.
It said Helen, and it had like a flower.
I figured it said Helen. I didn't want. Yesterday, I couldn't get myself to stand up.
I was surprised they didn't give us a better close up of it than the part. I was a little surprised.
Yeah, most people don't take screen captures to read it, so. But yeah, I agree. They should have shown it close up.
But it was really kind of lovely that she was that Carol. Now again, it's only been like 4 or 5 days since Helen died, right?
I think it's at one point during the
8. No, we're at day 8.
We're on day
8. Day like 8.5.
So that she finally did this, and it was a thing that she had to do alone, and it was only when she was alone that she. I mean, she's been very much like not wanting the others to say Helen's name, even, right?
Yeah. And actually, it's even more, a couple days than that, because day 8 was when she realized that they abandoned her at the hospital. So so we're about at 10 or 11 days now.
All right, but it's
still not been that long.
So. No, not at all.
No.
All right, so
I loved it.
Yeah, no, I did too. I thought it was sweet. So then her bag of whatever it is falls over, and she sees the barcode, and she tries to scan it at the grocery store. No go. So then she's looking down the aisle and sees the dog food bag is similar, which I don't know. That was a little bit of a leap for me. Did it feel like for you? Because just because it sort of had the same bag, that she followed it to the manufacturer, like that was, I don't know, that was a little bit much for me.
I kind of was like, can't she use her phone as a scanner and just check the internet? But I guess the internet's not working anymore, maybe, or not.
I actually wonder about that, because I know she can watch TV, but I don't know if the internet is still going.
I think she's watching a DVD though. Didn't they show her at some point put in a DVD?
I don't know if the Golden Girls.
If they did, I missed it.
Yeah,
I thought they did with the Golden Girls. Yeah, she would, but I don't know. That kind of barcode, I don't know whether you could scan or not. But the point is, she sees the back of the dog food bag is the same, and she follows it to the manufacturer. I noticed, too, it says Western Wolf. I don't know if that means anything. I'm just thinking about it.
I thought that was, I felt like that was just a little ha-ha fun.
Yeah.
Considering she had the wolf, she had the wolves in her fucking yard, and now
that's what I meant.
I think a Sprouts. I've only shopped in Sprouts a few times. We have them around here.
I didn't know it was a real store, so there you go.
Store. It has a sign like that and everything. I think they do have like some local and regional products but I think the city I live in doesn't have a dog food manufacturing plant. Right? Like
I have everything in Albuquerque. Apparently, they have milk manufacturers and dog food manufacturers.
Yeah, but I like seeing Carol like putting on her detective hat and like doing something and like and like going on this little mystery dive here.
Yeah.
And it was pretty smart that she thought of that and saw the code and was like, oh, maybe I can find out where this bag came from.
Yeah, I just think it was kind of a big reach for her to suddenly realize it looked like the dog food bag, but I get that they needed to
she's walking, I mean, it wasn't suddenly, she's walking through the whole store looking for something that looked like it.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought she was just kind of randomly, I didn't realize she was supposed to be. I see, that makes more sense. But
she was searching
I
the
don't
store
know.
for...
Yeah, I don't know that you would necessarily connect it, but I see. Either way, she follows it to Aggregat. And she goes in and gets this big door open finally. And there's all these aisles of food. And that's where I said, to me, I don't think they're eating the food. I think they're just storing it to keep it somewhere.
They did say
something else. I can't see.
They did say they had moved all the food to central locations for easier distribution.
Right. But I'm saying I don't think they're eating it. Or if they are eating it, I think they're like turning it into that stuff.
Okay. Do you have the final shot?
She looks under a tarp or something. And
I thought, am I the one who thought those were clearly human bodies being stored there in the walk-in, and there maybe are like,
that's what I thought too.
Maybe they're so maybe then I started thinking
maybe it's something that comes from the bodies. Is what
I think maybe the juice, the fake milk. I started thinking, okay, maybe it's not like for the virus, but maybe they are recycling the human bodies for their nutrients or whatever, a la Soylent Green. Do you guys ever see Soylent Green?
I have not, but I know Soylent Green is people, so I know that.
Yeah,
I do know what it's about.
I know. So everybody thought that they were bodies.
Yeah, and I think too, if they are being efficient, it kind of makes sense because eventually they might run out of. Well, I mean, they could still plant new food, but they're not killing animals or anything, and. If it is bodies, though, do you think they killed them, or do you think these are just the people that died during whatever?
That's a great question. I hadn't really thought about that.
I kind of assume they might just be the bodies that died.
It is a great question because so many bodies died that the morgue can't. Remember in like the height of the COVID epidemic, particularly in New York City, they ran out of morgue space and they had to bring refrigerated trucks in and things like that.
Yep.
But I do think it's a terrible idea to store human bodies next to fresh food that you might want to distribute.
Oh, that's definitely a bad idea. But, and they're supposed to be the smartest minds, right? You think they know better. But I mean, I do think only because, I mean, it could be unreliable narrator, but we believe what we've been told. We've been told they can't lie. And they've said that they can't kill people. So I don't think that they're people that were murdered. I think that if they are bodies, they're the ones that died from various reasons.
That's a good point, Jamie.
Beforehand, is what I tend to think. But either way, it does not seem like a good thing if they're harvesting.
You know what's going to happen? It's going to turn out not to be bodies because they want us to think that.
Oh, probably, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it could do that would give her that reaction. I was so mad. They're going to end it right there.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No.
I think on Apple, it says like next week's episode, it says coming on Thursday, whenever it comes out. And the one sentence like description says something like Carol gets a big shock or something like that.
Yeah. Well, at least she has something interesting to put in her next video, right?
I mean, So I think even if the others, and she calls them the others for the first time when she's making the video, I think if the others are, I think they could be repurposing these bodies for nutrients and being like, oh, the human body's 90%, 80, 70% water, and it has all these vitamins and minerals in it. And it just makes sense scientifically.
Well, I mean, Karen, you remember on the 100 when they made the little squares?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because it had all the nutrients and proteins and everything that they needed to survive while they were underground.
Yeah. That's right. Out of the dead people.
Cycle, right?
I mean, I think so. The others could be doing with the best of intentions, but I think for Carol to say, like, by the way, this is what they're doing with our loved ones, would, like, cannibalism is the one thing that's a guaranteed turnoff. And it is cannibalism. If they are cannibalizing human bodies for useful nutrients. And it would quickly, and that would maybe help to convince some, if not all, of the other 12, right?
That's what I was just going to say. Yeah, they might listen for finally. If they're actually delivering these videos, I have to assume they are. Like I said, I think next week we may, and they might not even start with this because they want to make you wait. I think it may start with like that guy that we seen that was at the storage units. Maybe he's watching it. Like,
you know what's funny? There was a part of me, I mean, obviously, this is how the episode ended, but earlier there was a part of me, I thought the episode was going to end with the phone ringing and him being on the other end other end.
No, that's more of a lost thing. But then again, it doesn't.
Well, no, because of her videos. I thought that's.
No, I know. It just makes me think of Lost in the Hatch when you say that, like just showing the other side. All right. I really liked it. I like this show more and more. I think it's interesting and it's so different, which is, I think, what makes it really good. I just wish I had tried to cover it at the very beginning. I thought the squares were in that movie where everyone lived on the train in separate classes.
Snowpiercer. Yes. They were eating squares.
They did that too in Snowpiercer, yes.
They were squares that were people?
No. In Snowpiercer, they were bugs.
Oh, ew.
Yeah. In Snowpiercer, when you die, you go to agriculture and you're mulched to help grow vegetables in the agriculture car.
Yeah, the stuff that the tailies were eating was like ground up insect protein or some shit. Yeah. So, all right, ladies.
All right.
Before we go,
we're gonna do. Are we gonna do?
We're not going anywhere. You guys are gonna do last.
Let's do Last Frontier. Yes. All right. Don't let me forget that I gotta give a 2-minute summary of my Alaska trip for Muncher, and maybe Muncher hasn't heard about my Vegas trip.
Why don't you do that while I'm fixing the pictures? You can.
Okay. I had the best time in Alaska. I'm sorry I didn't download it with you guys, Muncher. But it's my second trip. Alaska's an incredible place, and we actually had some pretty good weather. It can rain a lot in the summertime. I went whale watching. I went to a brewery in a little town with only 800 people. I saw a glacier. I ate great food. I ate Alaskan king crab legs, which, oh my God, I can never afford to eat them again. Lunch for 2 people was $350. Because they cost $80 a pound, and a pound is 1 leg. And I had a really great time. It was a really wonderful trip. I would definitely go again. I would go to Alaska again for sure. It was great. And then I went to Las Vegas 2 weeks ago, and I fell and blew out my shoulder, and I fractured my shoulder here, and I tore my biceps. And that's why I'm wearing a sling right now.
So, Karen, I told you that this is what I do. This isn't you, it happens to.
Association with Jamie.
Yes. For anybody who doesn't know, I'm a complete klutz and I'm always getting hurt.
Yeah, I hope I'll heal up a little faster than you did last time.
My leg took. Well, to be fair, the only reason my leg took so long to heal was because I was waiting to see if I needed the surgery, because it was either get the surgery right away or wait and see if I needed it. So waiting ended up good because it healed on its own. It just took forever. All righty. I just have the press pictures. I didn't take screen captures.
That's okay.
Wait, what happened? What was the Vegas thing? I missed the Vegas thing. Did I miss that? Or did you not say the Vegas thing?
I said the Vegas thing while you were.
Sorry.
I'm just talking about my horrible accident that has me in a sling now for a month and unable to.
Oh, it was in Vegas. I didn't realize it was in Vegas. I thought it was in Alaska.
It was my last night in Las Vegas. I was walking back to the hotel to pack to get ready to fly the next day, and I fell. And I'm warning you all now, I was holding my phone in one hand and walking. And so when I fell, I took the entire impact on my right arm. And that's why I was injured so badly. If you fall on both hands, you distribute it and you don't get hurt.
Now, Karen, I have an important question for you. Do you not remember when we were walking to the store in Florida and I was using my phone while we were walking? What happened?
I forgot about that.
You knew better. You should have learned from me. I fell and got hurt very bad that day. So
I did it the hard way.
Should have known better. Do not walk with your phone, kids, and read while reading your phone. It's not good. All right. So back to the last frontier. I did actually get a chance this time to look up what this episode was about. So this episode really kind of reveals everything finally. So I guess a lot of the stuff that I've known that you didn't kind of been waiting for you to find out.
Last week was almost entirely flashbacks, right? It revealed a lot last week also.
Yeah, but this week is when you find out about the plane crash and what really happened, right?
Well, we found that out last week. Sydney brought down the plane.
Okay, I thought that was from what I got out of what I read on recaps. I thought that meant that was
We learned last week that Sydney brought down the plane because she thought Havelock was a dead man anyway. He was a dead man walking, dead man flying.
Yeah.
And she didn't know he was going to be on a plane with 80 other convicts.
And she didn't know that he'd saved the guy. Oh, we did talk about that. I don't know.
We did talk about this is the week that flips the whole season. It's like a whole new show where Sydney is the wanted person. Right. And this mean lady, a CIA lady whose name I forget, she shows up in Alaska to pursue Sydney and bring her in. And she also wants to kill Tiago because he's elusive. She wants to kill them both, really, right? She wants to kill Sydney and she wants to kill Tiago.
Wait, what? What are you calling him?
Is his name the guy who was her father's friend?
Oh! I thought you meant Havelock. I'm like, okay, yeah, that might be his name. I was thinking of Havelock, and I thought maybe you were calling him something from a different show, and you confused me. No, I don't remember that. Yes, his name is Tiago. You're right. Yeah, but also you find out here to begin with too that a lot of it they were working together through a lot of it too. They've kind of always been on the same side, but I think there were certain points this season where you didn't know that. I mean, they're still working together. So
Havelock and
Sydney, in order to try to take down
Bradford,
yeah. So let me ask you this, Karen, because you did not at the beginning of the season like this, and you've had to wait each week, which I know seems like it's dragged on, I think. Do you like it better now that you've kind of seen the whole picture and that a lot of it you didn't know what was going on? Do you feel differently about it, or do you still kind of feel like you did then?
I mean, I think in retrospect, I should have figured it out earlier with Sydney, but I wasn't paying enough attention because I was not I was frustrated and not engaged, and I was often looking at my phone or doing other things while I watched the show. And in retrospect, if I were to watch it again, probably a lot of clues are there with Sydney, right? You see them in last week's episode where Frank has a quick flashback of multiple things that Sydney said that she was almost giving clues all along, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how I felt about this. I'm interested in the part where Havelock's still working her despite the fact that she brought down a plane to try and kill him.
He loves No, yeah, I agree with that. I guess my point
killed him out of love, I guess, right?
Yeah, that part I don't know. But I guess my point is I appreciated how I guess many twists and turns and the true story that was kind of going on. Not that you're right. Not that some of it wasn't hinted at along the way. I'm not saying that, but that the story was different than the story you started with. And I liked that whole spy aspect that I didn't know I mean, you knew after a certain point in the story that it was that spy thing, but like, I don't know. It was a lot different by the end than what I expected it to be. And I liked that overall story, which I usually don't really like spy stuff a whole lot. So I said earlier, I think when I first started watching this, I told you it's something I normally didn't think I would like, but I really liked. So I don't know, but it sounds like you're still kind of about it, which is fine.
Yeah, I mean, this is a twist we've seen. It's not a wholly original twist, right?
No, it's not. It's not.
Thought was the good guy is the bad guy. This is like the final act of a lot of movies we've seen. Or
no, it's not wholly original. I do think, and I said this last week, I think that this show, and I think that I didn't notice this as much because I did watch it in like 2 sittings, but I think that this show would have been a lot better if they had not split it so much between searching for the prisoners and the story of the spy story. Like, I feel like it was 2 completely separate stories. Like, maybe they could have done, if they knew they were going to get 2 seasons, done like the first season getting the prisoners and the second season the spy thing, or done like a half it. Like, I feel like it was too much of both together, that it just made it too much going on a lot of times. Like, because you were waiting to get to the other part of it. I don't know, that I still kind of feel like that, but because I think they could have, like, I get that they had to take care of the prisoners. Don't get me wrong. They can't just let them roam around. Yeah. But I feel like if they had not devoted so much time to finding all the other prisoners and like individual episodes, that they could have made this season a lot shorter. And this is one case where, because I'm usually not the one that says that, I do think this show might have benefited from being shorter and not going so deep into that. I didn't mind it as much because I didn't have to wait each week. But I don't know. I think it might have worked better.
I kind of enjoyed the prisoner of the week aspect of it. If I was going to cut something, it would be Frank's wife and his son getting kidnapped.
Like, yeah, that definitely could have been cut out. I agree with that. That was
especially the son. Like even that whole thing could have been.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But I don't know. I feel like I really, really like this show, but I also kind of feel like if I had to wait a week each week, I don't know that I would have finished it, though, if I'm honest.
That's how it's designed.
I know it is. But I can't help. I guess my point is I can't help that I'm colored by watching it differently. But I think if I watched it like you had, I don't know that I would have continued. I don't know. There's no way to know. But I don't know. I preferred the spy story. And like I said, I usually do not like that kind of stuff. So I was a little surprised that I did. I think I liked the twisty nature of it. But I also didn't take time to, like you said, a lot of it maybe was really obvious, but like I didn't take the time to think about it because I just kept going. So I don't know if that's, I don't know. I liked the kind of back and forth.
Yeah, I think maybe what you find interesting and twisty, I find convoluted and overly complicated.
It is definitely convoluted and complicated. I'm not denying that. And I feel like sometimes I was like, wait, what? Because it was complicated. At times I kind of
it's not over yet.
Think about it.
Sorry? It's not over yet. There's still one more episode.
No, but there's only one more. Yeah.
I mean, in terms of this episode, I told you last week that I didn't feel sympathy for Sydney, that they had made her so brittle and unlikable for so long that when the whole thing was revealed with her father being killed and wanting to get back at Bradford, I didn't feel sympathy for her. Maybe because she tried to kill her husband and ended up killing like 80 people because she's dumb. I didn't feel any sympathy for Sydney at the end of when it all came out last week. I did find myself rooting for Sydney a little bit this week, but only because Bradford and her goons are so over the top, like evil, that like just are they evil? I didn't say evil, but they're definitely bad guys and they're killers and they're right and corrupt and everything. Like they're so awful that I found myself like rooting for Sydney to evade them, but not because
I get that. And that's the point that we didn't really talk about, is the idea that what was going on is that they are, I'm going to, just so we have some different pictures, no, not all the same picture. The idea that they hired their people that worked for them to do things and then they would burn them and kill them and hide it. And that was kind of what her father ended up wrapped up in, which is what the whole plot is, which we haven't really talked about. And again, you're right. It's not something super, super unique, but I think it was an interesting story. And I think that it makes good motivation. I mean, not just for her father, but for them, because they were doing it to them too. No, it wasn't just, her father. That's what they did. And she kind of needs to be stopped. And you're right. You do root for her, for Sydney. So yeah, I don't know. I just did not, I guess, when I started watching this, I did not know it was going to be a spy show. And part of it is because of the damn title. I still think they should have titled it something different.
Well, because the whole Alaska of it, there are times
not a big enough part. Yeah.
There are times where Alaska plays a big part in it and makes a lot of sense. And there are times when the whole last frontier of it doesn't really have a lot to. I noticed in this episode, there's a scene where after Sydney leaves the pharmacy and Frank is going downtown, he drives past the sign it's a bank. It says Fairbanks something, and it has the temperature and it says 25 degrees. And I'm like, it reminded me of how the cold hasn't played as much of a factor lately as it has. It comes and goes. When the story needs it to be cold in Alaska, it affects them. Look, I get if I lived in Fairbanks, I probably wouldn't think 25 was that cold, right? Maybe.
Yeah. I liked, I'm glad I brought this picture up though, because I did want to say, I did love how he made the fake grenade. Did they really think he was going to somehow smuggle a grenade in there? That was funny, I thought.
Well, he says it's an improvised. He doesn't say, he says.
Oh, that's right. He does say it's an improvised. Okay, it's been a while. But either way, I like how it was totally fake, was my point in all that.
And he disarms the guy who stupidly, I was a little surprised when that guy came in there to just and he's like, I'm a federal agent's died, I'm going to beat you up. And the whole brutality of the federal agent. Look, I'm not saying I don't believe that there are police who commit these. I mean, we see it sometimes, particularly videos of prison guards doing these kinds of things. We not to impugn all prison guards, but we've seen a few things like this in the news, right? Mm-hmm. And he comes in there and he's going to beat the hell out of Havelock, and then
he very calmly is like, I got this.
Almost immediately disarmed, right?
Yeah. It was silly, but it was funny, I thought.
Yeah.
Right.
So he gets away. Then he cuts a deal with Thiago, where he talks Thiago into making a distraction, so he can escape.
Yeah. And at the end, this ends with them at the.
Well, there's a big chunk of it that is Sydney, her escape, and she flees, and she gets on the train, and she's trying to get to some military installation where she can supposedly
ahead of them all the
use
time.
Their internet to upload the archive, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it turns out, this is where it turns out that Sydney is also a mastermind. I mean, she did train Havelock, and she wants them to follow her. It looks like she's been wanting them to follow her, right? Mm-hmm. She's leaving a trail that's too obvious.
Yeah.
And Frank figures it out and Bradford doesn't, right? Because Frank is the genius and Bradford
is because you want the villain not to. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised she didn't, but I also kind of feel like Bradford, even if she did figure it out, I feel like Bradford would go anyway because she thinks she's smart and better than Sydney. I don't think that would deter her at all.
I did appreciate Frank's little lecture he gave her. I don't love all the dialogue. It wasn't perfectly written, but when Frank says, look, all your influence and all your everything from DC means nothing up here at the last frontier. He doesn't say the last frontier, but he's like, that means nothing. And everything that empowers you in DC is a liability up here in Alaska. And so go ahead and underestimate me. I'm used to it. And I was like, oh, that really does kind of sum up Frank there. Because she's a total bit I didn't really understand how she expected to get anything out of Frank. She came in and was a gigantic bitch from the moment she said hello, right?
Yeah. I think she definitely overestimates her influence over some people.
Well, and she treated him like a podunk nobody yokel, right? And she's like, she actually says to him, you left Chicago because you couldn't cut it. And we know they left Chicago because he planted evidence and had to get out of town, right?
Yeah, so that might have been a big guess, which you would think she would have had maybe a little more information, but I guess not. So not that she would have necessarily known about the planted evidence. I just mean you would think that she maybe would have researched it a little better. But Yeah, but
I did
ends with them at this. I don't know what it is, like not a waterway, but I don't know.
It's some sort of military installation, I think.
Yeah.
Because she needs a high-powered internet signal or something to piggyback on, right?
Yeah, and that's the state. But the standoff there is where it ends, right? Where the episode ends.
Yeah, it is. Okay. I also, this part where Bradford's like not really like. I would have liked to see it be a little bit more of her being out of her element in Alaska, right? Because she's like zip, zip, zip. And this moved pretty quickly in terms of, look, we spent 8 episodes chasing Havelock. And so we only have to spend 1 episode chasing Sydney. I don't want to see it dragged out, but we didn't really get to see the ways in which Bradford's unprepared to be in Alaska. Although I did notice, I'm getting to a point really. Do you remember when Sydney was driving the car up the mountain and these guys are like the muscle? They're like snipers up on the mountain, like they're going to shoot Sydney. Remember that? And I was like, oh, so they're in Alaska in the snow and they're all wearing 100% black. Like, how could she not spot those snipers in 1 second, right?
Because snipers don't wear white. No. Yeah, they should have been. I agree with you. We have seen movies snipers wear white. That was sarcasm, but I just mean like they should have been dressed for the snow. You're right. I hadn't even thought of that, Karen, but you're right. That's funny. But yeah. But we are at a standoff and, at the home stretch.
Yeah. I assume what's going to happen is Bradford's going to go down because she has to.
Yeah, we want Sydney and Havelock to come out on top, but I guess we'll have to see how that goes.
I don't see how Sydney doesn't go to prison. I think Sydney's willing to go to prison to take Bradford down. If she has to go to prison, that's fine.
I agree. I think they both are.
But maybe the 2 lovers will slip away.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah. All righty.
All right, that's it for this week, huh?
That is it for this week. Make sure you guys tune back in Thursday at 8 Eastern for our Stranger Things deep dive. And I think we need to, I feel like if we're all going to be on both conversations, we need to make our review part a little quicker because otherwise we're going to be repeating a lot of stuff. That's the only thing I kept thinking while we're doing like this. Like we're going to be repeating this stuff on Thursday.
We'll make a real effort to be lighter.
To be more of a review and less of a breakdown on our Fandom Access show.
Okay.
Because usually it's different people, so it's a little different, but we end up we're probably going to discuss the same things. Well, I mean, Scarlett will have more to contribute, but yeah. So yes, join us on Thursday at 10. And then also, of course, Scarlett and I will be back on Monday at 11 for the next 3 episodes, the next episode, I'm sorry, of The Artist. I don't know if Karen, if you're going to join us again or not on Monday, but
I don't know about that.
But we have our watch party at 9:30, and I forgot to put the Discord link in the chat. If you have not joined our Discord yet, please do so because we do have watch parties before the live streams, and also have the schedule and stuff in there. Usually, I was going to update it today, and then I went to update it, and then I started to set up the show, and I forgot to do it, so I need to do that. And I will be setting the show for Thursday soon. Oh, I know what I forgot. Thursday after we're done with Stranger Things, Scarlett and I will be wrapping up the end of Harlan Coben's Lazarus. I'm not sure exactly what time, but we decided we're going to go ahead and do it. It won't be a super long show. But I need to talk to you guys about how long you think we're going to be for Stranger Things, and then we'll make a time so everybody can, I'll put in Discord when that's going to be, but that'll be after our conversation on Stranger Things. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's it for the week. Please, as always, please subscribe to SciFi Vision, like the video, hype it if you can. Check out our interviews under the video tab. Have a lot more on the way. With all my computer problems, I'm still kind of behind, but I'm trying to catch up. And there'll be some more interviews going up tomorrow. So yeah, check all that out, and we will see you on Thursday.
Okay.
Stranger Things to do. Okay. All right, everybody. Have a
good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Bye. Good night. Thanks for coming, everybody.